Any cuts made by the secretary, who really is in charge of the budget, those come only after one-on-one meetings that he has with those serving and their families. And for now, he assures us no family readiness centers are on the budget cut chopping block, and that is good news for them. Eric?
Yeah, so important. Great interview. Thanks, Jamie. Now to politics. Newt Gingrich, as you know, surging to the top of the GOP field, in part because of strong Tea Party support. Polls show him pulling in an overwhelming following of Tea Party voters. But could that support backfire if Mr. Gingrich ends up facing President Obama in the general election? Well, here now, Republican Congressman Tim Murphy of Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh area, and he joins us from a state where the latest Quinnipiac College poll shows Mr. Gingrich running almost 20 points ahead of Mitt Romney. Congressman, good morning. Welcome. Thanks for coming in.
Great to be with you.
What do you make of these Gingrich's man? He's out there in the starting block, 20 points in your state ahead of Romney.
I think what's really helped Newt for a long time is he has talked issues. And that has stood out. So many of the other Republican candidates have talked issues, but they have also spent their time sniping each other. Actually, that's where they have a lot of commonality with the White House. Both the White House and Republican candidates all have been attacking Republicans. And what they ought to be doing is showing the difference between Republican and Democrat White House. What it also does, it's very effective, is generate a lot of ideas. I've worked with him on health care policy before. He's a very thoughtful person who does generate a lot of ideas, and you can't get new voters unless you get new ideas for people to latch onto, and that's been part of his draw.
Some other members of Congress, we've heard them say they've worked with him too and didn't have a great experience. What's your reaction to that?
Well, look, every one of these candidates brings something to the table. They have their experience, they have their credibility, they have their ideas they generate, and Newt does a lot of that. Now, in any situation, they have to really focus on what they're going to bring back here and lead our nation. Look, we have a president who campaigned on hope and change, and now we see it's more blame and blame is what happens. And that's not going to capture people's hearts. And so if Newt is able to continue on with getting people's imagination and faith and entrepreneurship and jobs, that's going to carry some credibility.
Well, let's take a look at the polls, the Quinnipiac poll of, this is Pennsylvania. Look at these numbers, folks. I mean, it's pretty astounding in terms of Tea Party support. Gingrich, 64% to 22%. He has 3 times more among the Tea Party members. In terms of the economy, which you would think would be Mr. Romney's strength, look at this, double, almost, well, about, not double, like 50%, 33 to 22% for Gingrich. Foreign policy, it's a slaughter. 60% believe that Gingrich would be a better president on foreign policy, over 9% for Mr. Romney. And then, of course, there's knowledge and experience to be president. Look at this. I mean, like almost 6 more believe Mr. Gingrich would be. What has resonated suddenly over the past few weeks, you know, after Herman Cain dropped out, that has caused this explosive number of support for Newt?
I think it has to do with a number of things that he has been pushing forward. You know, when you watch his debates, what he has done is actually spend some time complimenting other candidates and not just criticizing them. But what's going to stand out here is if this once again deteriorates into an argument about perfection and personality, then he'll be brought down too, and he'll join the likes of Cain and others who have had their surge and have had their fall. What is going to be important for all these candidates, and I really wouldn't count a number of them out yet. I think we have our primary in Pennsylvania in April, that if they focus on getting jobs back to America, bringing back American respect around the world, bringing back the strength of our defense, cutting the size of government, that is what Americans, not just Tea Party, broad base of Republicans, but also the broad base of voters.
All right. For the record, you haven't endorsed anybody yet.
I have not yet.
All right. Well, April, and who knows, it could go that long, Pennsylvania. Congressman Tim Murphy, good to see you. Thanks for joining us this morning here on the Fox News Channel. Jamie?
Eric, thank you. Could unemployment drop to 8% by next November? We're going to take a look at the bold prediction, he said it, and what it would take to get there.
This is the tale of Olga Ooze. Denture paste gave her the blues. Yuck! Until at last she found Seabond, a wafer that goes far beyond. Bye-bye ooze and bye-bye paste.
No ooze, no blues.
Seabond, hold happily ever after.
Single Christians, good news. ChristianMingle.com has more than 5 million registered members, almost 2 million new members in the past year alone. Joining is easy and free. Find God's match for you at ChristianMingle.com today.
The inspiring story of how a shipping giant can befriend a forest may seem like the stuff of fairy tale. Take away the faces on the trees. Take away the pixie dust. Take away the singing animals, and the storybook